Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Jananim saradam devim Ramakrishnam jagadgurum padapadme tayo shritva pranamami muhurmuhu. Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Well, welcome to this session. This session is supposed to be on meditation. What I propose to do is, before the short guided meditation session which we will do, before that I'll speak to you for a short while about meditation, one subject. What I say will be based on an article written by Swami Ashokanandaji. Swami Ashokananda was the head of the Vedanta Society of Northern California, long time ago. He passed away in the 1960s. Very powerful teacher, very enlightened person, a non-dualist, strong Advaiti. And he has this remarkable article. It's called Before You Sit in Meditation. Before you sit in meditation. So he has mentioned 10 points there which are very practical. I will just briefly touch upon those 10 points before we go into the practice of meditation. I think what he has said there and what I will put before you, this is more important than the small meditation session we will do. That is, we can do in many ways. We will do just one technique today. But before you sit in meditation, what Ashokanandaji has said, many things were worth noting, very significant. Meditation is, this is not Ashokanandaji, I am saying this. Meditation is very popular throughout the world. I think a few years ago, Time magazine had a cover story on meditation. I think it said, just say Om, or something like that. So meditation has become more and more popular. And most of these meditative practices, there are a wide range of practices. Most of them come from the yoga traditions of Hinduism or from similar traditions in Buddhism. So most of the meditation techniques which are taught here in America or in Europe or in India or elsewhere, China, they are from Hindu origins or Buddhist origins. And Buddhist origins also, if you study if you look at the history, the life story of Bhagavan Buddha as the Prince Siddhartha who went in search of enlightenment. He went to many teachers. And if you read the descriptions of what he learned from the teachers, you can clearly see those teachers, they taught him Patanjali Yoga. They taught him a mix of what we today call Sankhya and Yoga. So it is very clear that even the roots of Buddhist meditation, though there are many new things there, even the roots of that lie in the ancient yoga discipline. Sankhya philosophy, we will not go into that. That is like the science, I sort of considered it that way. The Sankhya philosophy is the science and yoga is like technology. So what is in science, the theoretical part that is translated into technology by engineers. Similarly, the yogis took the philosophy of Sankhya and translated it into meditative practices, which you find in the yoga system. The yoga system, with the oldest and finest manual on meditation you can find, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. We don't know how old they are. Quite clearly they predate the Buddha, which means they are at least 25 centuries before our time. Buddha was born 2500 years ago. So more than that. It's a very ancient text. Patanjali Yoga Sutras. The first sutra is, of course, that Athato Yoga Anushasanam. That means now, Atha Yoga Anushasanam is now there is an instruction about yoga. The second sutra defines meditation. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. What does it mean? It's a Sanskrit aphorism. Compressed. Each of these little aphorisms has enormous amount of information packed into it. I say it's like these zip files in computers. Many things are packed into one file, so you have to unzip it. But basically what it means is meditation, the essence of meditation is the cessation of the movements of the mind. Changes, vritti, movements of the mind, cessation of that is yoga. Yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. Chitta, mind, the mind stuff. Vritti, movements. Like a lake breaking out into waves. The lake, you compare it to the mind, and the waves to the modifications of the mind. What is the modifications of the mind? Thoughts, emotions, memories, desires, pleasure, pain, any kind of thing that is happening inside us, in our subtle body, that is a vritti, a modification of the mind. Yogaschitta vritti nirodha, cessation of the modification of the mind. So we shall today practice one technique, you will see how it works. But here the question arises, what is the purpose of this chitta vritti nirodha? And the second sutra says, the third sutra says, Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. The witness within remains in its true nature when the mind has ceased to operate. When the mind is absolutely calm, the witness remains in its true nature. Witness means what witness? It's not a legal witness in a court or anything. It is you yourself, our true nature. So our true nature is revealed when the mind is absolutely calm. Swami Vivekananda in his commentary on Raja Yoga says, compare the mind to a lake. When the surface of the lake is absolutely calm and the water is clear, then you can see through to the bottom of the lake. You can see through to the bottom of the lake. So that is yogas chitta vritti nirodha. The bottom of the lake here is our true self, what we are really. That becomes apparent, clear, shines forth when the mind is calm. Otherwise what happens? In our normal state, when you are thinking, feeling, remembering, imagining, what happens? What happens is vritti sarupya mitaratra. That is the fourth sutra. What does it mean? When the mind is in constant operation, the witness of the mind, you yourself, you become identified with the mind. Anger, I am angry. Not I am the witness of an angry thought. Then you would not be angry. I am angry. Desire, I am desirous. The witness and the mind has become one. It gets attached to the mind. It gets identified with the mind. So whatever the mind is, that color it has taken. And that's our normal life. That's why we are seeking to calm down the mind so that the witness remains in its true nature. This is the basic idea of meditation. These three sutras, sutra number 2, 3, 4. 2 says absolute calmness of the mind is real meditation. 3 says in that state the witness is revealed in its true nature, in its true glory. And the fourth one says in other states when you are not meditating, the witness, your true nature, gets identified with the states of the mind. This is the idea. Sri Ramakrishna is to put it this way. He says, a cloth, when you dip it in colored water, in dyed water, whatever dye you dip it into, blue, pull it out, blue. If it's a clean cloth, even faster. Why I am saying clean cloth, we understand. If it's a clean cloth, even faster. You dip it into red, it will come out red. Not so clean, you have to dip it a few times, it will still have an effect. So, he says the mind is like a cloth. Whatever set of thoughts you constantly dip it into, it will slowly take on that color. If it's like a white cloth, immediately it will take on that color. That is, a pure mind will immediately take on that coloring. An ordinary mind, our mind, it will take time. but it will still get colored. What meditation does is, it constantly dips the mind in the thought of God. What God, all that depends on your tradition, what you believe in, what you practice. But you constantly dip it in that thought, the mind acquires that color. It's a great power. I want to become spiritual. Very good. Practice meditation. Dip your mind in God. God is the dye in which you dip the mind. It will become a holy mind. That is spirituality. So meditation means dipping that cloth in the thought of God. Sri Ramakrishna puts it so powerfully. Many people have a wrong idea that I am not pure enough, I am not holy enough. I don't have an urge to meditate also. You may think. One may think, I don't have a bhakti, devotion to God. I don't have a belief in God. I don't have an urge to meditate. Should you meditate? Yes. It's like somebody saying, I am feeling so cold. Am I worthy of going near the fire? Let me become warm first, then I can go near the fire. You go near the fire, you will become warm. The fire is meant for you. If I don't have peace of mind, if I don't have love for God, or a quest for discovering who am I, if I don't have that, try meditation, you will get it. Wherever you keep the mind, it will slowly acquire that color. Another aspect of meditation is repetition. Meditation is not once, not twice. It has to be repeated. Somebody came to Sri Ramakrishna with that age-old question. Arjuna asked it to Krishna in Gita. Somebody asked Sri Ramakrishna that, my mind does not settle down. I cannot meditate properly. What am I to do? The answer is very simple and a little also very frustrating also. The answer was, what are you saying? Why don't you practice Abhyasa Yoga? What is Abhyasa Yoga? Very simple. Repeat it. Regularly, day after day, month after month, year after year, repeat it. So we don't find it very glamorous. We find it boring. We thought some kind of secret technique he will tell us. Shortcut. Abhyasa Yoga sounds very boring. When Arjuna asks this in the Gita to Krishna, the meditation you have taught, he says to Krishna, the meditation you have taught it's not possible. It's impractical. Why? Because the mind is difficult to control. The mind goes here and there. You are saying constantly keep your mind on God, on Brahman, on Atman. But it's not possible. And then what does Krishna say? 6th chapter Gita. Asamshayam mahabaho manodurnigraham chalam. No doubt, you are right, oh Krishna, oh Arjuna, you are right. The mind is difficult to control, but it is possible. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena chigrihate. What does it mean? By systematic repeated practice, abhyasa, and by vairagya, by letting go of the strong pulls, desires outside the world. Let go of that. The two have to be combined. A movement, constant systematic movement in self-enquiry or in towards God, whichever you like. And at the same time, letting go of the extrovertedness, things which pull us into the world outside. So, Ashokanji gives us 10 points. Let me quickly touch upon them. What are these 10 points? First, regularity. Meditation, as I have mentioned, is not something to be done for a few days. I had a friend when we were in the hostel studying, a very intelligent boy who was also very spiritual. But the thing is, he was spiritual only when the mood was upon him. So, studying books, praying, sitting in meditation, he would do nicely. But often he will not do it. Why not? Mood. I'm not in the mood. Ashokanji says, never fall prey to that trick. It's a trick of the mind. Even when you are not in the mood, it is my spiritual practice to daily do meditation. To do meditation regularly. Regularly means do it daily. Never miss meditation. So I have seen Swamis traveling by train or plane or bus. They'll sit quietly in the train and meditate for a few days. It may not be good meditation. 10 minutes maybe. But they will not miss it. There is a value in being regular, which is the value one understands only after a few years. After a few years, you cannot stop doing it. It becomes a part of it. It becomes spiritual food for the mind. That's number one. Second, he says, not only regular, but a time. It's good to have a time for meditation. And in India, they have researched this. Year after year, they have done meditative practices and researched it. And they have found certain times of the day are suitable. These conjunctions of day and night are suitable. So in India, it's a practice to get up very early in the morning. 4 a.m. is called Brahma Muhurta. So just before 4 a.m. in Belur Math, for example, we have the bell rings at 3:40 in the morning. 3:40 a.m. It's not a problem getting up because everybody else is getting up. And that's one reason. And second reason is he will not stop ringing the bell until you get up. You'll be very polite, but you'll ring the bell. So how can you sleep? At 4 a.m. you meditate. That's Brahma Muhurta, but it depends on your lifestyle. You cannot do that. You are not in India, not a yogi. So, I mean, not a sannyasi where your main purpose is that. So it depends on your lifestyle, but some time is suitable. One is 4 a.m. in the morning, they say. Another one is this time. You see, the practices are always like this. The transition from day to night, twilight, when you have arati. Here in the temple at 7 o'clock you have arati. That transition, when the sun is setting and slowly it's becoming dark, arati. Second time. Another one is noon time. Another one is midnight, late in the night. Some yogis, they do that. I myself seen one Swamiji. Once I was very sick and in the hospital in Calcutta. So another Swamiji, old Swami, he was in the hospital. Throughout the day he was in the bed, very old Swami, talking with others and all that. I used to see that he had a little tin box. Those who are from India, you will know. Tiffin boxes, like, children used to take in our childhood. Nowadays you have fancy tiffin boxes. I don't even a lunch box. A little box like that. I used to think what was in that. And late in the night, because I was ill and I was also young, so lying in the bed all the time, I would not get sleep at night. At night I was awake. And I would see this Swami. He would get up late in the night. Everybody is sleeping. He didn't know I was watching. And then slowly he will sit on the bed upright. He will open that little box. And in that box, there is a picture of his Ishta Devata. It's there. And he will sit ekdam straight like this. As long as I was awake, I would see him sitting like this and meditating. In the dead of the night. Nobody, in a hospital bed. Imagine. I was a newcomer. I thought I am sick in hospital, so chutti. I don't have to meditate. It's a vacation for me. I can take a break from meditating. I have a legitimate excuse. I am sick. But that Swami has no excuse. He does not give an excuse. Another Swami I saw, very old Swami, he had an operation in that same hospital. And first day operation, after the operation, recovering, old Swami. He must be in 70s or 80s. The drip going on, he lay in the bed. Next day, the day the drip was taken out, sitting early morning, getting up 4 o'clock, sitting down, 3 hours straight, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock, on the hospital bed, facing the wall. Time. What is the effect of time? If we follow time, what will happen is, over the years, the mind gets trained to it. And at that time, when you sit for meditation, like magic, your mind will be concentrated. Mind becomes habituated. Mind is a creature of habit. You will notice, if at certain times and certain places you do certain things and think certain thoughts, again and again at that time that thought will come. So, at that time, when you sit for meditation, I used to see one Swami, I heard this story. In the hospital they told us a story that one Swami had been brought in at the last stage of his life. He was admitted to ICU, late 80s age, advanced stage. And ICU, it is all, you cannot make out whether it's day or night. It's inside, it is air conditioned and these lights are on like this all throughout. And nurses will be observing you and everything. They used to say this Swami lying half dead, dying. Exactly just before 4 a.m. his eyes would open, he would struggle up in the bed like this, close his eyes and do japa. How he knows at 4 a.m.? That is timing. Whole life he has done that, exactly at that time. We know body will wake up at that time, even when you are sick. So time is very important. The third point he makes is place. If possible, in your home, have a place for meditation, for puja, for meditation. It need not be a room. It may be a corner of a room also. You may not have the ability to, or the space for making a separate room for meditation. A corner of a room. Or what we do, a meditation mat. In Sanskrit it is called asana. So have your own asana, meditation mat, which only you will use, nobody else will use. And you use that only for meditation. What will happen is when you spread it out and sit on it, your mind will be concentrated. Place also. Mind associates with a place. So place for meditation is important. We used to see in Belur Math there was one old Swami Nishthananda, Manohar Maharaj. I still remember, a disciple of Swami Shivanandaji. In his late 90s also, when the body is unable to move the body, I think arthritis or something, he cannot close his fingers and difficult to walk, very difficult. Somehow he will tie his dhoti and struggle. It will take him 15-20 minutes to go from his room to the temple, which is very short distance. Slowly he will go early in the morning and go and sit down in the corner for meditation. He has made up a discipline that I will go to the temple early in the morning and meditate. That place. We used to say, young Swamis, we used to say, his name is Nishthananda. Nishtha means discipline, dedication. And really his life is like that, dedication. Till the last day of his life. And such a humble person. One day, because he was unable to move, somebody took him in a wheelchair to the temple. And so overcome that for me they have got a wheelchair. He couldn't stop smiling. Such a big smile on his face. He was a huge man. So such a humble person. He was a revered Swami. That the simple service of somebody coming with a wheelchair and taking him with a wheelchair, that itself he is feeling overjoyed. And anyway, so place. Now, one more point. One big problem in meditation, everybody says, is thoughts. Swami, we have got many bad thoughts. Thoughts which we don't like. Negative thoughts. Guilt, traumatic memories, depression. So how to deal with this? This is the next thing. Ashokanji talks about it in detail, but basically what he says is, don't struggle with it. The more you struggle with a thought complex, the more energy you are feeding into it. Rather, concentrate on God. If you are meditating on Krishna or something, some form of God or Jesus or whatever, if you are Christian, whatever you are doing, concentrate on that. If the thoughts trouble you, take those thoughts and put it at the feet of the Lord. I offer this unto you. But if those thoughts are there, if certain thoughts are troubling you, don't be anxious about that. Why am I being troubled? If negative thoughts are there, I will be troubled. Give yourself permission to be disturbed also. And I can be disturbed. What is there? The more you become stiff and more you become uneasy and anxious, the less possibilities are there of quietening the mind. Remember, the aim is to chitta vritti nirodha. Shant, the peaceful nature of the mind, like a lake without waves. So don't feed energy into negative thoughts, guilt, memories, bad thoughts, addictions. Don't feed energy into them. Rather divert that energy and at that moment replace that thought with the thought of God. Remember, one thing about the mind is, it can hold on to only one thought at a time. And it's an advantage. It can hold on to only one thought at a time. So if it is something that is disturbing you, one very good way of getting rid of it is to engage yourself in something else. So no, that thought comes back again and again. Then don't sit there. Open your eyes and chant the name of the Lord. Chant something from the Gita or some holy scripture. That's why all these rituals are there. Pujas and so that you can physically do something. Alright. So, how to handle negative thought complexes skillfully? That's the fourth point. The next point is, there are certain things, associations, bad company, which disturbs our mind. It is not just people. Some people are outward, worldly. If you stay with them, associate with them, your mind also will become like that. So, changing the association, avoiding the association of people, places, things which disturb and agitate our mind. Today in the morning I was saying, if I take anything and everything and put it into my mouth, any kind of food, stale food, old food, dirty food, immediately stomach will be upset. Similarly, anything and everything we grab from the world and put into our minds. Something that is trashy, a worthless show on TV or internet, or somebody is criticizing me. First, two things attract us very much. One is somebody is praising me. Oh, what is he saying about me? Let me listen. Worthless. I know my own value. What others say or do not say does not matter. It only inflates the ego. That's one thing which attracts us. Another thing which attracts us, an awful fascination for us, what others are criticizing about me. What negative things they are saying. We cannot help it. We get hurt by it. We get insulted by it. We cannot forget it. We cannot forgive others also for saying harsh things, hurtful things about us. But we want to know. It will hurt us, but I want to know. What is he saying about me? Really, what does he think about me? What does she think about me? Neither praise nor blame. Don't listen to it at all. Don't listen to it. If you listen to it, your mind will. The point when your mind is strong enough to reject both, then you can listen, it will not matter. If you feel your mind is getting inflated, if my mind gets inflated by praise, it will get hurt by, deflated by criticism. If that is happening, wisest thing is to avoid it. What point is there in listening to these things? I remember once I was walking with a senior Swami in one of the ashrams. Students were there. Now, the usual path in which we walked that day, the Swami said, let's go by that way. I said, why Swami? There's some group of students were standing there. He said, they are talking critically about me. I overheard. Let them talk. Let's go the other way. What a lesson I learned. Somebody came to complain, such and such person is saying something about you. He said, he didn't even want to know what they are saying about me. Immediately he said, why did you listen? I'll tell you an interesting story I just remembered. I had forgotten many, I think 10 or 12 years. Really inspiring. One Swami I saw in the Himalayas, in Gangotri. I made friends with him. Very daredevil kind of person. Swamis are supposed to beg for food and bhiksha, traditional monks. So once he went all over India traveling in a traditional, like a traditional monk. He's a PhD from Banaras Hindu University. He went traveling all over India without, his vow was no money and I shall not ask for food also. People have to offer, then only I will eat. I asked him, how many days did you go without eating? He said maximum 3 days. But then somebody offered. It creates a dependence on God. Anyhow, you can see what a daredevil kind of person he is. Now I heard a story about this Swami from others in the Himalayas. So what kind of person? Mentality is something we can learn. One day a group of Swamis, others, came to him. There are people who will carry this news to you. You have to be careful of such people. They said that, do you know Swami, what those people are saying about you? Do you know what they are saying about you? This criticism. Before they could open their mouths, this Swami said in Hindi, Sab sach hai. In Hindi, what does it mean? It's all true. Do you know what they are saying about you? It's all true. And you read with ask, no, whatever they have said, I'm giving you a blank check, you fill up. It's all true. You wanted to know that whether it's true or not. You want to confirm the gossip. I'm saying it's all true. What kind of thing you want to think about me? It's all true. No, you're getting angry, you're getting mad at me. No, it's not that. But it shows the person does not care a little bit anything about the whole world. What anybody anywhere may think about me, I don't want to listen. You want to know something bad about me. Before even hearing the charges, I agree to all the charges. It's all true. So, company. To be careful of the company that you keep. A meditator must be careful of the company he keeps. In our ashrams, there was, especially some of these very senior Swamis were very strict. When people would come to the ashram, devotees, after 1 or 2 words, they would say, go and sit in the temple and meditate. No talk about national politics, international politics. Trump. Keep that At home or for TV shows, not in temple, not in meditation. Keep it away. So, or family matters, don't bring that in here. All those are there. Here you have come to be close to God. Or here you have come to be close to the spirit within. It's the same thing. So, be careful of the company that you keep. That's number 5. Then 6. Ashokanji says, practice of asceticism. Simplicity. Simplify your life. Meditation is helped by simplicity. The less you possess, the less distractions you have. A long to-do list. What to-do list? No, there are many good serials on TV. Which one I will watch and which one not to watch? Great decision of life. Don't watch anything. Simplify the life. If it is not giving you any permanent joy, richness, satisfaction within, don't waste your time in these things. Meaningless activities. Possessions. You don't understand. We living in midst of so many things, we don't understand. When we have possessions, we do not understand our mind is tied to those possessions. The moment I say it is mine, a tiny bit of the mind gets tied to it. It's mine. When you hold on to something, you don't realize that is also holding on to you. The moment I hold on to this microphone, now I'm saying I am holding on to the mic, but my freedom is also gone. I have to stay here. I am tied to it now. I cannot get away. So possession means the mind is there. Another thing is mobile phone. That was not there in Ashokanji's time, so he has not said anything about it. Switch it off when you meditate. Otherwise, a part of the mind is there. Is some SMS coming? Is some message coming? Has some email come? What is happening? No, switch it off. So mind knows that nothing will come now. It is shut off. So possessions simplify life. That is the next point. Then the attitude with which we go into meditation. Go into meditation with complete detachment from the world. When you sit for meditation, think that there is no world outside this meditation room, outside this meditation hall. The world has disappeared. The world and USA and Augusta and everything has gone. Nothing outside this. Completely blank. No husband, no wife, no father, mother, child also. Not there. There's nobody. None of them exist. All these have disappeared. You are completely alone. Completely detached. Nothing else exists in the world. Only you are there and the object of your meditation. You're meditating on something. So that is there. That's the next point. That is complete detachment. Ashokanji says, go into meditation with the feeling of eternality. So could you go outside? So could you keep the children outside? Especially during the meditation session, we can't have that. It is very distracting. So, a feeling of eternity. That there is no past, no future, past, present, future, none of them are there. You are only alone with your God. So you go into meditation with a feeling of eternity. There's no birth, no death, no old age, no youth, nothing. Just you and the object of meditation. Then, the 8th point he makes is, a yearning for God. He says the heart must cry for God. You see, here is an important point. What is the purpose of meditation? By now, we must have realized meditation is meant for self-knowledge or for God realization. That is the central aim of meditation in all religions. especially Hinduism and Buddhism, the aim is enlightenment. Nowadays meditation is used for so many things. For stress management, peace of mind, calmness, many things. Even for boosting the autoimmune system, so many things are there. And it is true, they help, it helps. But the actual aim is God realization, enlightenment, moksha. So a great yearning for truth. Now you might say, I don't have that great yearning for truth, so how do I do that? Well, even if I don't have it, I can simulate it. I can imagine it. Can I feel like Mirabai, the great poetess, the great devotee of Krishna? Can I feel like Nanak? Can I feel like Kabir? Can I feel like Ramanuja or Bhakta Hanuman? The devotion, the intense, one-pointed eagerness for God. If that is there, almost everything else will not matter. The mind will meditate deeply. So that is the point he makes. And then the ninth point he makes is, when in the day-to-day life, other than the hours of meditation, all the work that we do, try to connect it to God. That I am doing this for the sake of God, offering it to God. In fact, whatever work we do, if it is not immoral, if it is not bad, it can be offered to God. And Ashokanji says, if your work forces you to do immoral things, change that work. You have to be bold. If you are going to meditate, don't do things which are illegal, wrong, completely wrong. So whatever we do, anything that is good and moral, we can offer to God mentally. You are doing it for your job, no doubt you will get your salary for your job. At the same time, what prevents you from mentally offering it to God? This work I have done, just like a flower you offer, or fruits you offer in front of the deity, mentally offer it to God. I remember once I am coming in, not Ashokanji. Once I was passing through an airport in, it was Lucknow airport, and late in the night, very late in the night. And I was the only passenger for that flight. So the security people who were standing there, like the TSA agents here, they are in India, they are CISF personnel. So they were all standing there, and I was the only person they had to check. And I'm wearing this cloth, and I got there, and then the sergeant who was in charge of checking, he said in Hindi, Swamiji, kuch bataiye hum log. Give us a lecture. I said, all right, I'll give you a talk. You know, in India they have a little box on which you stand and they'll frisk you. So I stood on the box and he called all the security personnel. They stood around me. And the talk was how to convert that activity which they are doing, the job, into spiritual practice. So I said to him, in the morning when you leave your house, it's UP. So do you worship God? Hanuman ji ko phul chadate hain? He said, yes, I worship Hanuman. I worship God in the form of Hanuman, and I offer flowers before I leave the house. Now imagine, throughout the day when you are checking people, each time you check, mentally you offer one more flower to Hanuman ji. This is my service to God. Do it to the best of your ability, firmly, politely, sincerely, as much as you can, and every time you think I'm offering a flower to God, to Hanuman. He was so happy, simple man. He said, Din bhar Hanuman ji ka puja hoga phir. Whole day I'll be worshipping God. Yes, you can do it. Now, if I convert every one of my actions into a service of God, you see, that is why ritualism is helpful. Today there was a question about rituals. So actually, if you do the worship of God in some way, you have a deity where you offer flowers, you chant something, you bow down, you light an incense. People think, hey, this is meaningless ritual. Not meaningless. It's a great blessing to be doing what Satyaji does here. You are getting paid for doing spiritual practice. So it's a great blessing. You can sit here and worship God to your heart's content. Now that ritualism is helpful. If you do a little bit of ritual, you'll see it helps in meditation. What I do with my physical body, it has a calming effect on the mind. So if I connect and if you are not doing rituals your whole day, all of you cannot be like Satyaji, the priest. You have to be a manager, a doctor, a housewife, a teacher. But if you can convert the work that you are doing into a worship of God, anything that you do, then your meditation will be powerful. When you sit in meditation, it will be powerful. Whole day you are actually meditating in a way. So when you sit down and stop all work, sit down, immediately mind will be concentrated on God. And the last one, 10th point he mentions, this is of course not in our hands. He says that a very powerful aid is if you ever meet people who are spiritually advanced. He means enlightened souls, Brahmagyanis. To hear about God from their lips, at least once in your life. That's something very powerful. Person who has realized God, has got God experience or enlightenment, nirvana, moksha, whatever you call it. Such a person, when he or she comes and says to you, God exists. Simple word. What will happen? God will become a reality in our lives. You cannot deny it anymore. Something deep within will acknowledge that. It directly awakens something within us. Then you cannot escape anymore. It will become real to you. That God can be seen through meditation. It can be experienced through meditation. So the words of an enlightened person or a spiritually advanced person, the power of holy company. The power of holy company. It's good to keep company with those who are meditators, whose minds are peaceful. To keep their company, automatically our minds also become peaceful. I have seen it. One sign of a holy person, truly, genuinely holy person, I have seen unmistakable sign is, it has a good effect on your own mind. Being near such a person, you yourself feel elevated. 10 points. Swami, I've forgotten, what was the 10? Let me repeat to you first. First of all, regularity. Not when your mood is there. If your mood is there, very good, do more meditation. If mood is not there, minimum at least. Second, time. Fixed time, as much as possible. And that particular time, year after year, day after day, month after month, year after year. Keep on doing it. It gains power. Place. If you don't have a fixed place, if you have a fixed place, very good. If you don't have a fixed place, at least a fixed asana, seat. If you cannot sit on an asana, chair. But only use that for meditation. Place. Then, how you will deal with negative thoughts, bad thoughts. How will you deal with that? Don't fight directly. Direct energies towards God, thought towards God, divert it. And if it's disturbing you too much, offer it at the feet of God. Don't worry about it. Many people give up meditation because bad thoughts are coming in the minds only. Let it come. One day or the other, we have put it ourselves, we have put it in our mind, someday or the other. So we have to face what we have done at one time. So, how to handle negative thought complexes? That is the 4th point. 5th point is, be careful of the company you keep. Not just persons. People who criticize you too much or who flatter you too much. People who are too much outward oriented. If a person is always talking about making his next million, he will somehow get the idea, oh, let me make at least next $250,000, then I will start meditating. Company you keep. Person had taken initiation, mantra diksha, member of parliament in India. Now one Swamiji asked her, lady, she, from the state of Bihar, so much terrible things are there in politics, especially in Bihar. Asked her, are you repeating the mantra? And she said, Swamiji, the company I keep, the two cannot go together. Dono ek saath nahi chalta. I am keeping it for my retirement. After I retire from politics, I will repeat the mantra. The two cannot go together. Now, she is a very perceptive lady. I must say that she understands. So, company. Be careful of the company you keep. People and the things that we see on TV, on internet and all things. Be careful of that. What garbage I am pouring into the mind. After that I cannot complain that the mind is disturbed. Then number 6. Simplify. Ashokanji calls it practice of asceticism. In Hindi you will say kuch tapasya. Some kind of discipline in life. Regularity in life. Simplicity in life. Hardship in life. Too much comfort, no meditation is possible. Too much hardship, then again meditation is not possible. Mind will be diverted. Pain is there, poverty is there, social relations are disturbed. Then meditation is not possible. Mind will continuously go outwards. Certain serenity is necessary in the world outside. So that will be provided by a simple ascetic life, simple life. Then the seventh point will be a feeling of detachment from the world. When you go into the meditation, sit in meditation, imagine you have no father, mother, husband, wife, children, boss, big problem, office. Nobody is there, no job also. Unemployed, no employment, world outside does not exist. Only you sitting there, nobody else in the world exists. Feel that strongly. Feel eternity. I am meditating, I'll meditate for 15 minutes. No meditation possible like that. I am meditating for eternity. There is no end to it. Go with that feeling, you'll have good meditation. Then, next is a great yearning should be there. Great desire for truth. For nirvana, moksha. I must see God. I must realize God in this life itself. That is the greatest power, in fact. So Ramakrishna gives a funny example. Imagine a thief, a burglar is there. And he knows that there is gold in the next room. Only a thin partition separates him from the gold. Imagine the restlessness of that person. How will I get there? When you know that God exists, the solution to all our problems, Atma Jnana or Bhagavan, I keep giving these two, because some people say I don't believe in God. So for them, self-realization. That exists, so how much eagerness there should be. Then number 9 is that throughout the day, connect your day to God by offering whatever we do, from the morning till night, whatever you do, mentally offer it to God. Like that police sergeant, Din bhar Hanuman ji ka puja hota hai, the whole day I'm worshipping God, like that. As much as possible. See, I forget. Doesn't matter. If you forget, the moment you remember that I've forgotten, start again. Very soon you will see the period of forgetting will be diminished. It will become less and less and less. It will become a habit. And then last is that holy company. Those who are you know to be good and spiritual people, even if they are not Brahmagyani. If you can get an enlightened person, somebody like that in your life, very rare is such an opportunity. But otherwise also, those who are really holy, good, serious, sincere practitioners, try to keep their company. Though Ashokanji says in a letter to somebody, he writes very funnily, he says, I am glad to know that you have the desire for holy company. But the real question is, do the holy want your company? I am glad to know you want holy company. But the real question is, do the holy want your company? But the holy are really compassionate. That I have seen. That I have seen. Though we are far below their level. But if they see anybody who seriously wants to realize God, trying, even walking in baby steps, they are most helpful. They are very glad. In general, they love everybody. They love everybody. They have sympathy for everybody. But especially for those who want to be spiritual, for those who want to realize God, that really makes them happy. They will like to help. So these are the 10 points. Now, Aarti is at 7? Alright. Want to take a little break? Ask 1 or 2 questions? Yeah.